In the quaint neighborhood of Willow Creek, nestled amidst manicured lawns and blooming rose bushes, stood a residence that appeared to be the epitome of marital bliss. Behind its white picket fence and stained glass windows, however, resided Clara, a woman whose life had become a monotonous melody of domesticity. For 12 long years, she had been a devoted wife to Edward, a successful businessman who doted on her with expensive gifts but had little time to shower her with affection. Each morning dawned with the same ritual. Clara would awaken before the sun, her body aching not just from age, but from years of tireless labor. As a housewife, her days were an endless cycle of cooking, cleaning, and caring for the house, a never-ending cycle that left her spirit as worn out as the Persian rugs she so meticulously cleaned. Her husband, Edward, often returned home late, his focus primarily on business and leisure. He saw Clara as a part of the household furniture, a silent observer of his comings and goings, her presence as unnoticed as the wallpaper that adorned their halls. Clara's days were filled with the ghosts of memories, fragments of a vibrant young woman who once dreamed big dreams and held aspirations that went beyond the four walls of her home. Now those dreams lay buried under layers of dust, as lifeless as the dried flowers in the vase on the mantelpiece. Then one day, a new face appeared at the threshold of their lives. His name was Anna, a maid who had come to help alleviate some of the burden that had been pressing down on Clara. But little did Clara know that this seemingly ordinary arrival would turn out to be anything but ordinary. From the moment Anna stepped foot into the grand residence on Elmwood Drive, a shift occurred, an energy that rippled through the rooms, unsettling the very foundations of Clara's life. With her soft brown hair framing a face that seemed chiseled by an artist's hand and eyes that held a depth that hinted at stories waiting to be told, Anna was not merely a maid. She was a breath of fresh air in the stagnant pool of Clara's existence. Her presence was a subtle reminder of the vibrancy that had been missing from Clara's life, a melody that resonated with the forgotten tunes of Clara's soul. Unlike Clara, who moved through the house with the familiarity of one who had known every creak and corner intimately, Anna approached each room as if it were a new discovery. This simple act of rediscovery breathed new life into the very fabric of the house. As the weeks rolled by, the dynamics within the house underwent a subtle yet profound transformation. Clara found herself drawn to Anna, not just because of her efficiency or diligence, but because of the sheer joy that seemed to emanate from her. It was as if the sun had decided to shine through the clouds, casting its warm rays on a flower that had almost forgotten what it meant to bloom. Their paths crossed in the most mundane of settings, the kitchen. Yet it was here that the quiet revolution of their relationship began. The kitchen, with its stainless steel countertops and state-of-the-art appliances, was where Clara's world started to crack open, revealing the vibrant hues of emotion that had been dormant for so long. One evening, as the setting sun painted the sky in hues of orange and purple, they stood side by side at the kitchen counter. Clara, usually so adept at concealing her emotions, found herself unable to hold back a sob. The dam that had been holding back a torrent of tears broke, and the pent-up emotions of years rushed forth. Anna, with an intuition that belied her youth, reached out, her touch as gentle as the summer rain. It was in that moment, amidst the gentle hum of the refrigerator and the clatter of dishes, that the walls around Clara's heart crumbled. The bond between them deepened, evolving into a friendship that transcended the boundaries of their social standing. They shared stories, dreams, and fears, creating an intimacy that was as nourishing as the meals they prepared together. However, this newfound camaraderie was merely the calm before the storm. As the days passed, Clara realized that the feelings she was experiencing were far more intense, more profound than mere friendship. Her heart, which had grown accustomed to the silence of neglect, now echoed with a longing that startled her. The sight of Anna, the soft curve of her neck, the gentle tilt of her head, the graceful sweep of her arms as she moved about the house, all became triggers, setting off a tempest of emotions within Clara. It was as if a dormant volcano had been awakened, spewing forth a torrent of passion that threatened to engulf her. But the most treacherous part of this internal battle was the realization that the object of her desire was Anna, a woman younger than Clara's daughter, a woman who represented everything her world had taught her to stay away from. Yet how could she resist when Anna's eyes, like pools of liquid chocolate, held a depth that mirrored her own longing? How could she deny the connection when Anna's laughter intertwined with her own, creating harmonies that resonated deep within her soul. Torn between her duty to her marriage and the undeniable pull she felt towards Anna, Clara found herself at a crossroads. The path ahead was fraught with uncertainty, but one thing was clear: the status quo was no longer tenable. The house on Elmwood Drive, once a symbol of her perfect life, had become a battleground where the ghosts of her past and the demons of her present clashed. Days turned into weeks, and the tension between Clara and Anna grew, mirroring the turbulent emotions that raged within Clara's heart. The stolen glances became more fervent, the brush of fingers lingering just a bit longer. The line between their burgeoning desires and the confines of their roles as wife and maid blurred. Finally, one rainy afternoon, as the rain drummed a melancholic rhythm on the window panes, Clara could bear it no longer. The dam of her composure burst, and the floodgates of her emotions opened. Tears streamed down her face, reflecting the turmoil that had become her life. Anna, ever attuned to Clara's unspoken feelings, rushed to her side. In that moment of shared vulnerability, something shifted. The barriers they had erected crumbled, and the pent-up emotions of months found release. They talked, or rather poured out their souls, and with each word, the distance between them lessened. Clara spoke of the emptiness that had become her marriage, of the dreams that had withered and died within her, and of the unexpected allure she felt towards Anna. Anna, in turn, shared her own story, a tale of resilience and hope, of navigating life's challenges with grace and dignity. By the time the rain subsided and the clouds parted, making way for a sliver of sunlight, they had reached a pivotal point in their emotional journey. The air between them crackled with unspoken tension, and Clara, emboldened by the honesty of the moment, took a step forward. The confession tumbled out of her mouth, a torrent of words that had been trapped for far too long. She told Anna about the intensity of her feelings, how they had grown from admiration to something deeper, something that defied societal norms and challenged the very foundation of her existence. When she finished, the silence was deafening. The weight of Clara's confession hung in the air, as tangible as the dust motes dancing in the sunlight that streamed through the window. It was a moment pregnant with possibilities, each second stretching into an eternity. Then the most beautiful sound filled the room: Anna's laughter. It wasn't a mocking or condescending laugh, but a sound of pure joy, of acceptance and understanding. In that laughter, Clara heard the echo of her own spirit rejoicing. As they embraced, the years of repression and societal conditioning that had boxed Clara into a life of quiet desperation began to fall away. It was as if a thick fog had been lifted, revealing a world full of vibrant colors and infinite possibilities. The news of their relationship spread through the town like wildfire, shattering the illusion of the perfect life that the residents of Willow Creek had so carefully constructed. The whispers started subtly, like the rustling of leaves in the wind, but soon grew into a cacophony that drowned out the chirping of birds. Mrs. Henderson from next door, whose own marriage was a testament to societal expectations rather than true love, was the first to voice her disapproval. Her words, laced with venom, were the harbinger of the storm that followed. A married woman in her early 40s involved with a young maid. How scandalous, she exclaimed during one of her bridge club gatherings, her words doing their job of spreading like the plague. From then on, Clara and Anna became the subjects of hushed conversations behind closed doors, their names synonymous with impropriety and scandal. The townspeople, with their narrow-minded views and judgmental stares, failed to see the depth of the love that bound these two women together. Yet amidst the rising tide of criticism, there was an unwavering current of support that anchored Clara and Anna. Despite the whispers and the disapproving glances, they held on to each other, finding solace in their shared love. For them, love was not a fleeting emotion to be confined within the narrow boundaries of societal norms. It was a force of nature, wild, untamed, and deserving of celebration. Years went by, and the scandal that once shook Willow Creek became a distant memory. Clara and Anna, once the talk of the town, settled into a comfortable rhythm of their life. They continued to reside in the grand house on Elmwood Drive, although it was filled with laughter and love, not the suffocating silence that had once prevailed. The garden, once neglected, now boasted vibrant blooms that drew in butterflies from miles around. As for Clara, she discovered a renewed sense of purpose. She channeled her experiences into writing, penning stories that explored the depths of human emotions and the complexities of relationships. Her words, raw and honest, resonated with readers who saw in her work the reflection of their own struggles and triumphs. Their love story, though unconventional, became a testament to the enduring power of human connection. It proved that love, in its purest form, knows no bounds and that happiness can be found in the most unexpected of places. In the quiet solitude of their lives, Clara and Anna knew they had found something rare and precious, a love that had bloomed in the cracks of a crumbling marriage and flourished despite the storms of adversity. Their story, though etched with challenges, was ultimately a celebration of the indomitable spirit of love and the strength it takes to nurture it.